In the middle of a wood, on the branch of a tree, lived Hoot, who was a Timbuctoo owl. Now, being an owl, Hoot thought he was extremely wise. Why is the grass green, Hoot? Because, meow, if the grass wasn't green, it would be red. And look very, very silly. Ah, Hoot! Just the fellow! Why does the rain come downwards? Because, Wolf, if it didn't, it would go upwards. And people's umbrellas wouldn't work. Whatever Hoot said, everyone was always very, very impressed by his answers. Everyone, that is, except for Squawk. I think Hoot just says the first thing that comes into his head. One day, Hoot decided that being wise and answering questions was rather tiring. From now on, I will only answer questions on Tuesdays. So he made a sign so everyone would know. The only trouble was he couldn't spell Tuesday. So he decided to make an announcement. I wish to make an announcement. From now on, I will only answer questions on Tuesdays. On Tuesdays! Why Tuesdays and not Fridays, Hoot? That is a very good question, Moo, and I'm glad you asked. Unfortunately, since it's not Tuesday, I can't tell you. Nevertheless, everyone was very impressed. Everyone, that is, except for Squawk. Silly old Hoot, he doesn't know anything about anything. Have you got a question for Hoot on Tuesday, Croak? And when Croak told him, Squawk had an idea. A very naughty idea. The following Tuesday, everyone gathered at Hoot's tree. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Hoot. Why can't trees talk? Yes, why can't trees talk? Because, Croak, if trees could talk, these woods would be a very noisy place to live. Then something very strange happened. Rubbish! Who said that? Me. Who's me? Me, the tree. You just said that trees couldn't talk. Then he was wrong, wasn't he? Wrong? Me? I'm Hoot. I'm never wrong about anything. No more questions today. I'm too tired. It's alright. It was only me. It was Squawk all the time. In future, if anyone wants to know anything, I suggest you ask me.
Why is the sky
blue, Squawk? I have a just idea. I'll tell you what, ask Hoot. He'll know. Dion. So they did. Hoot! 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 Hoot!
Hoot the owl thinks he's very wise, but he really isn't wise at all. He said to the owl the cat one day that if the grass wasn't green, then it would be red. Hoot the owl said to Wolf the dog that if the rain did not come down, then the rain would go up instead, and people's umbrellas wouldn't work. Hoot the owl thinks he's wise, thinks he's very, very wise, but he's really not. And now we know that he's not the one to ask when we want to know. Hoot the owl thinks he's wise, thinks he's very, very wise, but he's really not. And now we know that he's not the one to ask when we want to know. Hoot the owl said to Croak the frog that the trees cannot talk because if they could, then the woods where Hoot's house was would be a very noisy place to live. Then Hoot the owl, he was quite surprised when the tree his house was on did talk. He was so confused, he went inside, but the tree was not the one talking, it was Squawk. It was Squawk? Amazing. Hoot the owl thinks he's wise, thinks he's very, very wise, but he's really not. And now we know that he's not the one to ask when we want to know. Hoot the owl thinks he's wise, thinks he's very, very wise, but he's really not. And now we know that he's not the one to ask when we want to know. Hoot the owl thinks he's wise, thinks he's very, very wise, but he's really not. And now we know that he's not the one to ask when we want to know. Hoot the owl thinks he's wise, thinks he's very, very wise, but he's really not. And now we know that he's not the one to ask when we want to know.